Hello, here are your notes for section 3.6b and 5.7. Those numbers match up with where you can find this information in your textbook. The topic is solving inequalities, and this also works with equations, and we're going to be clearing fractions. So here's the rule that you're going to use. You can clear the fractions, totally get rid of fractions in an inequality by multiplying both sides by the lowest common denominator. Okay, so that's the rule of the day. You can clear the fractions, which means just get rid of them, if you multiply both sides, the right side and the left side, by the lowest common denominator. By the way, this will involve distributing. Alright, let's see what I mean here by looking at the first example. So the first example has a fraction in it. We've actually done problems like this before. So what I'm going to teach you today is just a new method for attacking this particular problem. So since there's a fraction, we can multiply both sides of this inequality by that denominator, which is 10. So we're going to multiply by 10 over 1, and we're going to multiply every term on the left side and every term on the right side. So it's really important you multiply every term on both sides. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take that 10 over 1 and multiply it by x over 10. 10 over 1 and multiply it by x over 10 minus, then we're going to take 10 over 1 and multiply it by 6. 10 over 1, multiply it by 6 over 1 is less than, and then we're going to take 10 over 1 and multiply it by 15. 10 over 1 times 15 over 1. Okay, so now we basically have three little multiplication problems that we have to take care of. Now in the first multiplication problem, you can cancel. So we're going to cancel the 10s because there's one on top and one on the bottom. That leaves us with just x minus, here just multiply 10 times 6. We don't really have to worry about 1 times 1. 10 times 6 is 60, is greater than, and then here just go 10 times 5. Or I'm sorry, 10 times 15. Again, 1 times 1, it doesn't really matter. And 10 times 15 is 150. Okay, we just cleared all the fractions. There are no fractions left in this problem. Now it's just a basic unwrapping or solving problem where we unwrap, and the opposite of subtract is add. So we're going to add 60 to both sides. And that gives you x all alone here is greater than 210. So we're looking for all the numbers that are greater than 210. Alright, so let's just quickly graph that. Greater than 210. So let's see here, we'd have 208, 209, 210, 211, 212, and we're looking for greater than 210, so open around the 210 and color everything to the right. It gets greater as you go to the right. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. Let's try the next problem. Okay, it has a fraction in it. So we're going to multiply both sides by the denominator, which is 10. So we're going to multiply by 10 over 1 on both sides. Now this time, all we have on the left side is one fraction. Just one thing. It's one big ugly fraction. So we just have to multiply once and then the other side. You need to notice the difference between these two. Now in this first problem, we had to multiply by the fraction, by the whole number, and then the other side. There was a fraction, there was a whole number, and then the other side. Here there's just a fraction and the other side. So up here we had to distribute 3 times, and down here just twice. Alright, let's go back here and finish this problem. So we're going to take the 10 multiplied by the fraction. 10 over 1 times x minus 6 over 10 is greater than, and then don't forget, this is what a lot of kids forget, you have to take this 10 over 1 and multiply it by the other side also. You have to multiply both sides for that balance. 10 over 1 times 15 over 1. Okay, here on the left, we have a 10 on the top and a 10 on the bottom, so we can cancel. That leaves us with just the x minus 6 is greater than, and then on the other side, remember multiply, you can multiply straight across. 10 times 15 is 150. Okay, now all I have to do is unwrap. The opposite of subtract 6 is add 6. And you do that to the other side. And you get x is greater than 156. So the solution is all the numbers that are greater than 156. So 154, 155, 156, 157, 158. We're looking for numbers greater than 156. So color to the right of 156 with an open circle around the 156. Alrighty, let's try number 3. Okay, a little tougher. We notice there are fractions, so we want to multiply by the lowest common denominator. In other words, look at the denominators. What can 5 and 8 both go into? What can 5 and 8 both go into evenly? And the answer is 40. So we're going to multiply everything in this problem, every term, by 40. So we're going to multiply the first fraction by 40, the whole number, and then the other side. Alrighty, here we go. We're going to take 40 over 1 and multiply it by that first fraction, which is negative 2/5 x. Plus, we're going to take 40 over 1 and multiply it by that number 6 is less than, and then we're going to take 40 over 1 and multiply it by that fraction on the other side. Got to do it on both sides, every term. So there was a fraction, a whole number, and a fraction. And we had to multiply each one of those by 40. Alright, we can do some canceling. There is a 40 here and a 5, and 5 goes into 40. So we're going to cancel. 5 goes into 5 once, and into 40 8 times. Then we can multiply here. 8 times negative 2, straight across, negative 16, and we still have an x. Don't worry about the ones on the bottom. Next, we have just 40 times 6. 40 times 6 is 240. Again, don't really worry about the ones down in the bottom. Is less than. Now in this one, we can cancel. That's the whole reason we're doing this, is so it can cancel. That's why we picked 40. Because 5 goes into 40, and 8 also goes into 40, so we can cancel. 8 goes into 8 once, and it divides into 40 5 times, and we will get 5 times 3, 15. So we eliminated the fractions. That's why we picked 40. If all the fractions aren't gone, then you chose the wrong number. Okay, now just unwrap. Subtract 240 from both sides. Bring down your negative 16x is less than, let's see here, negative 225. And then divide by negative 16. Uh-oh, we're dividing both sides by a negative. Dividing by a negative, you have to take this inequality and reverse it. You have to flip it. So it changes to an is greater than. And 225 divided by 16, a negative divided by a negative, would be a positive 14.0625. And you know what? Let's round that to 14.1. All right, we can graph that. Let's see, 12.1, 13.1, 14.1, 15.1, 16.1, and we're looking for things greater than, so that's a hollow circle, goes to the right. These are, we've colored all the numbers that are greater than 14.1. All right, I hope this is helpful. I'm going to do 4 more problems for you, but we're going to have to do that in the next video.